Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Are you ready to head deep in the heart of Texas for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show? We'll preview some of the great experiences San Antonio has to offer for cattle producers and their families.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Ochsner. This time, we're giving you a preview of the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show that'll take place right here in San Antonio, Texas. This is the oldest and largest national convention for the cattle business, and thousands of cattlemen and women will be on hand for 3.5 days of education, fellowship, networking, business, and a whole lot of fun. We begin with Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Russell Nemitz, who has an overview of some of the unique experiences San Antonio and the Cattle Industry Convention have to offer.
From historic places to fantastic food to a strong Western culture, San Antonio is a place where cattlemen and women gathering for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show will feel right at home.
I think being in San Antonio, Texas, you're in South Central Texas, and to me, that is the real, authentic Texas. When we have international visitors, national visitors, they all love the fact that this is authentically Texas, and I think that makes it really a great place for cattlemen. San Antonio has a lot of rich history that makes up the uniqueness of our destination. When you look at kind of our founding cultures, that is Spanish, the Mexican, and the German culture that makes us, you can see it throughout our city, in our food, in our artwork, in our architecture. And then of course, everyone remembers the Alamo. And that is a sacred ground right here in downtown San Antonio where people can go and reflect and really be part of Texas history.
The 2020 Cattle Industry Convention will offer lots of opportunities to learn, to do business, and to network with thousands of attendees. Plus, there'll be time to look over acre after acre of the largest trade show focused on the cattle business. In addition, outside the convention hall, there will be plenty of time to enjoy some of the unique experiences that San Antonio has to offer.
San Antonio is a great destination for families. We have activities from if you're 1-year-old up to 100 years old. And there are major attractions that you can get away from your convention and enjoy, such as SeaWorld San Antonio. So the famous Riverwalk, one of the things that I love about it, all of the hotels, restaurants, even nightlife and shops are connected on the Riverwalk. And of course, your convention being at the convention center will also have access via the river. But of course, there's wonderful barges that you can enjoy either through a tour or you can utilize them as taxis from the core of the Riverwalk downtown all the way to the new Pearl District. Pearl District is exactly what it sounds like. It was the Pearl Brewery, and it's a 21-acre mixed-use development that is turned into a whole entertainment district for visitors and locals to enjoy alike. We are very excited, and we would recommend exploring this district because it takes a little bit of history and has catapulted us into the future. You will find fine cuisine, casual dining, you will have nightlife, there's a jazz club.
With good weather, valuable connections at the convention, and the fun and beauty of San Antonio itself, the cattle producers who've attended convention here before are looking forward to a return visit to this outstanding city.
I love San Antonio. It's a great place to have a convention. It's always a wonderful time down there. San Antonio is a great place to be. It's always happy and you know, having the fiestas all the time, and it'll be the end of my year as president, so a little bittersweet to that, but I'm certainly looking forward to it.
You know, San Antonio is my favorite. I love the Riverwalk. I just love San Antonio. San Antonio is one of our largest convention cities. We have our most success in getting people there. So I'm not the only one that loves San Antonio, but it's just a beautiful place to be. It's a fun atmosphere, and NCBA with their convention, with all of their different activities, always makes it just a real exciting, fun place to be.
One of our very best, always one of the best attended. As somebody that's been there several times, the River Walk, the Alamo, just great history and great fun place to be. Again, especially when you're there with a bunch of people like you.
From San Antonio, deep in the heart of Texas, I'm Russell Nemitz reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
And joining us now with more on the convention is Kristen Torres, NCBA's Executive Director of Meetings and Events. Now, Kristen, folks may not realize just how much business does go on during the convention. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Like you said, there's all kinds of business that's happening. There's a trade show with over 350 exhibitors, so folks can find everything that they need for their operation there. So we've got business happening there. We also have business happening in all the committee meetings. This is where we're setting policy for the industry. So it's really important that people attend to have their voices heard.
So how is this year's trade show shaping up, and why is that such a big draw to folks?
The trade show is looking awesome this year. It's 98% sold out. We have tons of new exhibitors. We have all kinds of education programs that will be happening on the show floor. We have receptions every day, so it's a lot of fun. And pretty much anything that a producer will need for their operation, they're going to be able to find at the trade show, and then some.
You've got a great lineup of speakers again this year. Tell us what's in store for our guests.
Yes, the Cattlemen's College team has been working hard putting their program together. They're going to have over 25 breakout sessions there. Our opening general session speaker is Captain Scott Kelly. He's an astronaut. He's going to tell us about his year on the space station. And our closing general session is a gentleman by the name of Kevin Brown, and he's really going to leave everybody inspired as they're walking out of the convention. It's going to be great.
Now, we do tend to have a little fun, especially in the evenings, and you've got a great entertainment lineup set up for us. Tell us more about that.
We sure do. We like to have a good time at the convention. So on our Thursday night of convention this year, we'll be doing a Sunset Music Festival, which will be held at the historic Sunset Station here in San Antonio. And then Friday night, we're going to close out the event with an NCBA Invitational PBR event. Bull riding event, we'll have bullfighting and bucking bulls as well. So it's going to be fantastic.
So what does somebody need to do if they're interested in attending? And one question I always get, do you have to be an NCBA member to come to the trade show and convention?
You do not have to be a member to attend. You do have to be in the cattle industry. So it's not open to the general public, just as long as you're in the industry. And then if you want to attend, visit the website, ncba.org, and you can sign up right there. Super easy.
Thanks for coming to the show and sharing with us this preview of what promises to be a fun and event-filled week.
Thanks for having me. We are so excited. It's going to be a great event.
As Kristen mentioned, there are many excellent reasons to attend the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, and there's still plenty of time for you to make plans to join us. It doesn't matter if you're a first-timer or a long-time convention attendee. We want to see you in San Antonio. You can find out all the details and get registered at the website ncba.org. Still ahead on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll show you where to go for great beef fajitas while you're at the convention. Plus, a look at some fun places you may want to visit around San Antonio. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What does it mean to be an American cattleman? It means you have what it takes where it counts, on the inside. At Ritchie, we understand that. It's what's on the inside that defines us. We share the same values: ingenuity, commitment, sense of pride. These are the values that built this country. They're the values that built this company. Ritchie, proud to be a partner to the American cattlemen since 1921.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Houston. I'd like to invite you to join us at the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show deep in the heart of Texas.
Now a BQA tip from the Beef Quality Assurance Program. So record keeping is extremely important for producers. Not only is record keeping what we need to assure our consumers what we're doing, being able to prove that is very important, but it's also just important for our business. It's important me as a veterinarian to go back into those records sometimes to try to figure out where some diseases maybe got in, and then it's very important that we make sure that we have good records just from a business standpoint.
Find out more about beef quality assurance at bqa.org.
We're focusing today on San Antonio and the plans for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. Besides the fun, the business, and the networking of the convention itself, San Antonio has many places to go for art, history, and culture. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Matt Fleck visited the Alamo and has more on this one-of-a-kind historical site.
No trip to San Antonio would be complete without a visit to the legendary Alamo. This is the spot where in 1836, thousands of Mexican troops attacked and eventually overwhelmed a group of defenders fighting for Texas independence. Visitors are often surprised to find that this legendary site sits right in the center of downtown San Antonio.
When people come to the Alamo, often they want to know if they're at the right place. Yes, you are at the Alamo. And it's because they come here and it's downtown. It's sometimes smaller than they thought it would be. This is Texas, it's supposed to be big. That's where it helps to be able to say, that's the church. That's just part of it. Turn around and see the plaza. The plaza is the old mission footprint. And once people realize that the plaza, and they look to the south and look to the north, see how big it is, their whole impression of the site changes. And it goes from it's so small to it's so big. I understand why the Texans couldn't defend it. The church that we're standing in front of is the third church of Mission San Antonio de Valero. What's interesting is if you look at films, paintings of the Alamo, it looks like it does right now. It has that very famous parapet or hump on top of it. That wasn't there in 1836. And it's put there in 1850 by the United States Army. So artists, movie makers, the public, everybody likes to look at this and go, oh, it's 1836, but it's 1850.
Many are familiar with the expression, "Remember the Alamo." That famous battle cry became a reminder of the courage and sacrifice of the men who perished at the siege and helped inspire the forces of Sam Houston to defeat the Mexican army.
To us, where it's just sort of a slogan, to them, they're not really remembering the physical structure. They're not remembering the church. They're remembering the people because they were their friends, their relatives. They may not have known Davy Crockett, but they knew who he was. And so it's remember the Alamo, and essentially it's about vengeance. So it's a very powerful rallying cry. It helps us as a tagline for people to say, hey, remember the Alamo, so that we can talk to them about what they should remember.
Guided tours are available that take you through the original footprint of the Spanish Mission complex, as well as the historic Alamo Church. You'll also learn about the important role cattle played in the San Antonio economy during this time period.
The missions and cattle went hand in hand because the wealth of the missions was their cattle. And we might think about, well, that's a lot of meat for them to eat. What are they doing with that? No, it's the hides. The hides are an industry that, they're sent to Mexico. It's their form of wealth. So all the missions had ranches. San Antonio de Valero, the Alamo, at one point had about 4,000 cattle and horses to manage them.
Each year, about 3 million people visit the Alamo. This must-see American landmark is one of the most memorable stops on any trip to San Antonio.
It's an American icon. It's really a worldwide icon, and it represents liberty and freedom, but it is part of the story of who we are. You know, how did we get to be the people we are today? As we like to say, it's a story bigger than Texas.
Reporting from San Antonio, Texas, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Now, after all your meetings are done for the day and you've walked the trade show floor, you might be in the mood for a great meal. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter shows us an outstanding Tex-Mex restaurant that's worth a visit.
Venturing away from the Riverwalk pays off big when you visit the Market Square area of San Antonio. Here you'll find the famous Mi Tierra restaurant and bakery. It's a third-generation family business that was founded more than 75 years ago.
We're standing at Mi Tierra Cafe and Bakery, so we've been open since 1941, and it was actually my grandfather who started the restaurant, my grandmother. And it's a funny story because he was working for my aunt and uncle who owned a butcher shop, and my grandfather, he had been an immigrant from Guadalajara, Jalisco in Mexico, and he was delivering meat to this little tiny restaurant, which you'll see in our middle dining room. And the owner was just so sick of the business. He, threw his apron down and he said, "Do you want to buy this place for $150? And my grandfather, being very entrepreneurial, said, "Yes, I'll go." He went and borrowed the money, and he started what we have today as Mi Tierra.
Now, Mi Tierra seats more than 500 people at a time, and each year they serve more than 1 million people authentic Tex-Mex cuisine.
A lot of the recipes are originals from my grandmother and great-grandmother, and they're reflective of interior Mexican cuisine. But as we all know, cuisine is really a product of time, place, history, geography, and so Tex-Mex cuisine developed decades ago. So in northern Mexico, a lot of beef dishes are really classic to the region. So the asadas, the al carbons, the grilled items, they're just, all the marinades are very special to the different food items. So we really took our special marinades and we just kept it into our Tex-Mex form. So you have everything from our beef short ribs to our chili con carne to our sizzling fajitas, our pollo al carbon, all marinated and roasted. So we are in Texas, and that's, between northern Mexico and Texas, we just have a lot of cattle. And so that really just became a real strong point of our menu and our cuisine, and being able to translate our old recipes and still carrying them today.
Besides great food and a tempting bakery, Mi Tierra is memorable because of its unique and colorful decor.
I always like to say that whenever you see a child walk in for the first time, that's really the best eyes to look through, because they come in and they just say, wow, because there's no corner that's not decorated and it's constantly evolving. We don't just leave decorations up at one time a year, we change them probably every month. So you walk in and it's a 100-year-old building with a beautiful brick, but at the same time we've got piñatas on the ceiling, Christmas lights year-round. Sometimes people can't pronounce Mi Tierra, and so they say, oh, that's the restaurant with the Christmas lights or the bakery. So you've got Christmas lights year-round, so everybody looks really great and great ambiance. So in the 90s, after my grandfather passed away, my dad really wanted to have something that depicted my grandfather's dream. So obviously, coming from Mexico way back when, he was able to accomplish a lot in his time here in San Antonio. And so the name of the mural is The American Dream. You see not only our family members and our founders right in the center of it, included on there some just amazing family friends that are in the industry that have helped us along the way. It's something that you can't explain, because it's different, it's loud, it's vibrant, it's fun. Everybody at all ages loves to enjoy a nice meal here, and it's a place to make memories.
In addition to Mi Tierra, the family has opened several other restaurants nearby, including La Margarita, the place to go if you enjoy sizzling beef fajitas.
The sizzling part had been done in Mexico for a while. They'd have these sizzling platters, but when we opened La Margarita, we were the first ones to introduce it in the U.S. So we got so much notoriety about that. And as we all know, people eat and feast with their eyes and their smell before they actually take a bite. So when that sizzling platter comes out, you want them to see their food coming out of the kitchen onto their table and have already smelled and noticed how great that's going to taste. And they're just a crowd favorite. Everybody can't say no to some good sizzling fajitas.
Whether you choose La Margarita or Mi Tierra, you can rest assured the Cortez family will give you a warm welcome and a great meal when you visit San Antonio.
We're excited to have all of y'all come to town. Like I said, Mi Tierra is open 24/7, 365. Get all of your classic Tex-Mex, and if you want some sizzling fajitas or meats and a jumbo margarita, we're glad to have you at La Margarita, so please come down and enjoy.
In the land of sizzling beef fajitas, deep in the heart of Texas, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
There'll be some can't-miss speakers as part of the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show. For example, former astronaut Scott Kelly will be the keynote speaker at the opening general session on Wednesday. You want to hear the life lessons Captain Kelly has to share about his amazing career. Your convention registration includes admission to this and all the guest speakers. You can get all the details at ncba.org. Still to come on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll tell you about a fun and relaxing way to explore San Antonio and its famous Riverwalk. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Mate, President and CEO of Visit San Antonio. And on behalf of the city and the hospitality community, we welcome you, CattleCon, to San Antonio in 2020.
At Case IH, we believe it's our job to provide you with solutions. That's why our Farmall and Maxim tractors, as well as our tools and attachments, are designed with you in mind. From mowing to baling to loading and more, we're here to help turn your to-dos into to-dones. At Case IH, we'll keep your days running smoothly with equipment that's durable, versatile, and highly efficient. No wonder farmers are more loyal to Case IH than any other brand. Visit your local dealer or go to caseih.com/livestock for more.
It started with a man, a plot of land, and a few head of cattle. That man, your great-grandfather. You've got his name and his legacy, too. It's what you fight to live up to and work to leave behind. With innovation, integrity, and passion that runs as deep as yours, we'll be there. For your operation, for your future, for you. This is why Merck Animal Health works.
We're looking ahead to the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show that'll bring thousands of cattlemen and women and their families to San Antonio. One of San Antonio's most popular attractions is the Riverwalk. Russell Nemes shows us a unique way to explore this world-famous waterway.
When cattle industry members need a break from meetings and the trade show, Alex Alonso knows exactly what they should do with their free time.
One of the things that you really want to take advantage of is, of course, the boat rides. You want to get on a boat ride. You want to experience the #1 tourist attraction in Texas.
That tourist attraction is the famous Riverwalk, a pedestrian walkway along the banks of the San Antonio River that's lined by bars, shops, and restaurants. Boat tours are operated by Go Rio Cruises 365 days a year. The tour is a wonderful way to learn about the origins of the river and the history of downtown San Antonio.
In a really short amount of time, the boat captains, as we do the tour ride, talk about the history, we mainly point out a lot of the different buildings, the history that relates to San Antonio. The boat captains, we're all taught the same information. And there's a whole lot of information that the boat captain can give. But what's unique about a boat ride is the personality that the boat captain gives. Because every boat captain is different. Their personality is different. And the way they like to share it is different. And that's what makes it unique as well. With these barges, we have 5 different colors. There's 5 different designs as well. The overall theme is called Papel Picado. It's a Mexican folk art, cutout, picture designs that tell different stories. For example, the boat that we're on is the missions boat. It has the patterns, the designs, the cutouts of the 5 missions here in San Antonio.
These excursions highlight some of the most interesting places in the Riverwalk area. A cruise isn't just a great way to learn about San Antonio's culture and history, it also gives you ideas of other fun things to see and do along the Riverwalk.
As you get on a boat ride, you're cruising along the Riverwalk, our tour guides are pointing things out left and right, and they only have a short time frame of 35 minutes to do it. They do it in a way that's very unique that our guests, they really get a good sense of what they want to do. That's what we recommend. Come get on a boat ride. They'll give you an idea of where you want to go, what you want to do.
With more than 15 miles of sidewalks and paths, the Riverwalk is the longest linear park in America. Although construction began in 1939, it wasn't until the late 1960s that this area really caught on as a tourist destination.
We have the Riverwalk, but it didn't become a tourist attraction until we had the World's Fair back in 1968. That's what really put San Antonio on the map. A lot of people came, they saw the Riverwalk, got on the boat rides, and definitely were in awe of how awesome the Riverwalk is, especially with the different shops and restaurants along the way.
So while you can get around on foot through much of the Riverwalk, why not see it all in style on a boat tour?
The Riverwalk is definitely a great place to come and hang out. Not just because of the barge rides, the great food, the sounds, the sights you see, but just people that come from all over the world. And that's very unique, very, very cool about San Antonio. It's a beautiful place to come and visit.
Reporting from San Antonio, Texas, I'm Russell Nemitz for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Now you may be hungry after that cruise. Brian Baxter tells us about a great place to grab a bite to eat right along the Riverwalk.
A stroll along the Riverwalk will quickly show you San Antonio is a place packed with opportunities to find good food and drink. One that stands out is Boudreaux's, a Texas bistro established here more than 30 years ago.
We're right down in the heart of the Riverwalk. We are located between the Hyatt Regency and the Hilton Hotel, just on the opposite side. We have 160, 170 seats, so it's not really small, but it has this bistro style. We're not the typical steakhouse. It's a lot of people here all the time. It's a happening place. We are known for steaks and seafood. That's our specialty. What really brought us on the map is the black and prime rib, but we have several steaks you can choose from.
With seating options inside, on the patio, and right along the Riverwalk, no doubt Boudreaux's is a place where beef is an essential part of the menu.
To us, is very important. We try to consider ourselves more like a restaurant of comfort food, great steak, but not top too high end or not top too low. Primarily our beef is black Angus, it's aged. We're looking for some good marbling in it, and all the different cuts of meat. When people ask me, what would you recommend, of one of your steaks? And I always ask them, well, what kind of cut of meat do you like? We even have a flank steak on our menu, and it's excellent, with the chimichurri sauce. You just got to cook in a certain way. So to me, it's much more what do you like? And then you say, well, I like a ribeye, and we have a great ribeye. We cut our own ribeyes in-house. But definitely, when people think about Boudreaux's, they think the black and prime rib. It's kind of like one thing you have to have.
Beyond outstanding steaks, Boudreaux's is also well known for their guacamole, prepared fresh every time, right at your table.
We have a lot of people that before they have a steak, they got to have the tableside guacamole. We definitely get a lot of people that, and the cattle industry, of course, rodeo comes in town, everybody shows up here at Boudreaux's at least once or twice. It is very typical when somebody's in town, once they get to eat here one night, and they're going to be here at least 2-3 times. Number one, they're going to come in for lunch, try the lunch menu, and then they're going to come back for dinner and again. But beef is predominantly something that we really, really sell a lot. It's top sellers in the restaurant.
Great beef and a great view of the action along the Riverwalk makes Boudreaux's one of the favorite restaurant choices for those in the know in San Antonio. I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
One of the can't-miss events at every cattle industry convention is the CattleFacts Outlook Seminar. A full house is always on hand to hear what the experts think about the factors driving the cattle markets now and in the future. Get all the details and register for the convention at the website ncba.org. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we take you inside one of the great Western art museums located right on the Riverwalk. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to go deep in the heart of Texas for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show? It's the cattle industry's biggest convention back in San Antonio, a place filled with incredible sights, history, food, and fun. And you can't afford to miss the huge NCBA Trade Show.
The trade show is unbelievable. I think it's the biggest one I've ever been to, and it seems like it just gets bigger and better every year.
There's no better place for cattlemen and women to learn, have fun, and connect with fellow producers from across the country.
Cattle Industry Convention is one of those can't miss, right? If you haven't gone or haven't attended, you see so many old friends, and it really is. It's a combination of business and social.
Amazing speakers, unbeatable education, all for cattle producers. So plan now to go deep in the heart of Texas for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. Visit ncba.org for more.
When the field is your office, you never get tired of going to work. Cut, rake, bale, repeat. New Holland offers the power and versatility to get through the day. From small squares to large squares and everything in between, New Holland has you covered. Visit your local dealer today to find out more.
As we've told you so far today, there'll be a lot to see and do at the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show right here in San Antonio. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Lane Nordland tells us there's a museum right on the Riverwalk that's a great stop for anyone interested in the art, history, and culture of the American West.
The Briscoe Western Art Museum, located on the banks of the historic San Antonio Riverwalk, brings to life the vibrant culture and heritage of the Western United States.
The Briscoe Western Art Museum has been open since 2013, and we are fortunate enough to be in the original San Antonio Public Library building, so our structure is beautiful. We are directly on the San Antonio Riverwalk, and we're the only museum that is in the downtown area that you can reach via the Riverwalk.
The museum offers a permanent collection of Western art and artifacts, which gives visitors a chance to learn about the many diverse cultures that forged the American West.
At the Briscoe Western Art Museum, one of the things that I think a lot of people will be surprised at is usually when you think of an art museum, you're going to walk in and just see a lot of paintings hanging on the wall, which might not be as interesting to a lot of folks. What you're going to find is something far different. Not only do we have the incredible beauty in the paintings, but we also have all the interest in the artifacts themselves that you're going to find on display, as well as sculpture that really vividly show the movement and what it means in Western art that you're going to see.
The museum houses both original and replica pieces dating back to the mid-1800s. Highlights include an authentic reproduction of a Wells Fargo stagecoach, as well as an entire exhibit that focuses on saddles and spurs.
I would think that anyone coming into the Briscoe Western Art Museum would love to see our spur collection. It's quite diverse. You know, everybody knows a spur is like one of the main working tools of a ranching cowboy or cowgirl, and we have a diverse collection of spurs that are dating the day back several centuries ago, that are also the accoutrements not only of the American cowboy but also the vaquero, and I think that's really interesting to see how those two cultures can come together. We also have a very unique collection of saddles that are quite unique. One of the most unique saddles we do have is Pancho Villa's saddle, but we also have a show saddle of Roy Rogers that's also on display here at the museum. We have a whole area dedicated to the story of the Alamo that maybe you won't actually see when you're at the Alamo, and that is a large diorama piece that really gives you an idea of just how big and what the Texans were up against with the Battle of the Alamo. It's a diorama, and it's got all the soldiers, and it's got all of the invaders coming up to it. And there's places where you can actually listen and hear the story of different heroes within the Alamo.
The goal at the Briscoe Western Art Museum is to inspire and educate the public with engaging exhibitions, educational programs, and public events that highlight the region's rich traditions and shared heritage.
Courage, friendship, preservation, loyalty. These are core values that sometimes I think our society has lost, but I still think they're alive and well in the deep ranching Western heritage. And I think it's important that even if you didn't get to grow up on a ranch and maybe you weren't part of that, I think it's something that you can identify, which makes us all part of the West. And our tagline here at the Briscoe Western Art Museum is "The West starts here." And when you're here, you're part of the West.
Reporting from the Briscoe Western Art Museum in San Antonio, Texas, I'm Lane Nordlund for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
San Antonio will also play host to the 27th Annual Cattlemen's College on the Tuesday of Convention Week. The information and education available there is second to none, and you'll go home with new insights that just might change your cattle business for the better. Reserve your space for Cattlemen's College and register now for the Cattle Industry Convention itself at the website ncba.org. Still ahead, we'll check in with the cowboy poet Baxter Black. And next, we'll visit with the folks at the Texas Beef Council, one of our hosts at this year's convention. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show will be deep in the heart of Texas, San Antonio. It's the cattle industry's biggest convention with education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA Trade Show, outstanding entertainment, and much more. So make your plans and be there for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, February 5th through the 7th. Details at ncba.org.
When we start to break down the economics of cattle production on pasture, pasture is the cheapest source of energy that we have for cattle production. Most estimates that you see from universities will say that grazing an animal costs about 45 cents per head per day, and that pales in comparison to the cost of stored feed for supporting that animal. So forages, they're the base of our operation. They're the key to our economic success. So any type of management that we implement that's going to improve that production, whether that's weed control or fertility, is going to help us save money at the end of the season. So when you're looking for weed control options for your pastures, go to rangeandpasture.com and find your local Corteva territory manager for more answers.
If you're connected with the beef cattle business, then you should like the NCBA page on Facebook. The NCBA Facebook page shares photos, news, and valuable information about the beef cattle industry. You can also follow the NCBA Twitter feed at BeefUSA. So stay in touch with NCBA on Facebook and Twitter.
No one is more excited for the upcoming convention than the Texas cattlemen and women who'll play host in San Antonio. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Jill Sheridan has more on the Texas Beef Council and their work to build beef demand on behalf of members of the cattle industry.
From cow-calf operations to a strong cattle feeding industry, the cattle business in the Lone Star State is diverse. And while Texas producers are out caring for their animals, the Texas Beef Council is putting producer checkoff dollars to work in a continuous effort to protect and grow consumer demand for beef.
The checkoff is the only tool that producers have to get out and correct the misinformation. We need to continue to make sure that consumers see beef as healthy, that it's sustainable, that it fits within their lifestyle. And so if producers don't promote their own product, I'm not sure there's anybody that's going to promote it for them.
We feel here that eating beef and enjoying beef and feeding it to your family is such a nostalgic, amazing, emotional moment for people. And being able to connect with them and show them the hard work that goes into creating that product that sometimes they take for granted is an amazing moment of realization that there are real people who wake up every morning to do this, to feed them. And you know, there's something real amazing and such a connection moment when you're able to show someone exactly where their food comes from.
Texas cattle producers saw the need to have more dollars available to promote the beef they raise. So in 2014, they increased their state checkoff assessment, adding to the national checkoff to create a $3 per head Texas beef checkoff program.
I can honestly tell you that with the additional assessment through the state checkoff, it's allowed us to do things in the last 5 years that we could have only dreamed about. So we're so thankful to the Texas producers for stepping up and seeing the value and the importance of promotion, research, and education. Obviously, with the additional assessment at the state level, we've started a branding campaign called Beef Loving Texans. We've been super excited about that, the results. It's resonated well with consumers.
One of our biggest programs here in Texas is our branding campaign, Beef Loving Texans. And we've had such a great time creating this brand and really connecting with Texans with Texas-specific content that is catered just for them. So we do a lot of Texas-specific recipes with a little spicy Texan flavor added in, and then also really telling those cultural stories of Texas, whether that's barbacoa or tamales at Christmas time, which is a big tradition here in Texas. We want to make sure that we are staying true to our Texan roots and really telling that true Texan beef story.
It's clear the Texas Beef Council team is eager to celebrate all things beef. That's a feeling they have in common with the thousands of cattlemen and women from around the country who will be in San Antonio for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention.
I want to welcome everybody to Texas. I know you'll enjoy coming down to the Riverwalk. You always see a lot of cowboy hats walking up and down the Riverwalk, but we expect the weather to be good. There's a lot of great ways to get educated and get more information so that you can take back to your operations and to make a difference.
From deep in the heart of Texas, I'm Jill Sheridan, reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
NCBA offers some great after-hours entertainment for convention attendees. Thursday night, you can kick up your heels at the Sunset Music Festival. Then on Friday night, don't miss the NCBA Invitational Bull Riding and After Party. Both events are included with your convention registration. You can get all the details at the website ncba.org. Still ahead, it's time for a visit with our good friend Baxter Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Out here, you know what needs to be done, and you know what it means to those you're doing it for. But every sunrise brings something new. With the weather, the soil, the markets, your machinery. You can't always predict what it will be. So it's good to know that Ram trucks are more than capable of helping you get it done right.
Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. NCBA is the oldest cattle industry organization, working every day to defend your interests in Washington, D.C. And there are big benefits to being a member. You'll get news you can use in the National Cattlemen and policy updates from Beltway Beef. Plus big discounts from John Deere, Cabela's, and more great partners. Join now. Call 866-233-3872 or sign up online at ncba.org.
We know you're up before the dawn because the cattle rise before the sun. And you spend long hours in the saddle because the herd isn't always over the next rise. And you care for the land because you know it takes care of your family. And we know you do great work. And it's time to tell that story to the marketplace. IMI Global is here to help you do just that.
At Leachman Cattle, we're committed to building more profitable cattle. As a third-generation seed stock producer, our family has been in this business for over 80 years. Today, we have the best technology ever to build more profitable cattle. Our dollar profit index is a leader in the industry to help you balance all the traits that drive your bottom line. Give us a call or go to www.leachman to learn more.
When I was a practicing veterinarian, I did a lot of work on ranches. And in the winter, there is not a lot of heavy work to be done. Just feed the cows and worry mostly. But these ranchers have a lifetime habit of getting up early. But in the winter, daylight is a long time away, so it leaves them lots of time to kill before dawn. And that's when they cull. It's always been a mystery in the winter when it's slow why a rancher gets up early when he's got no place to go. He prowls around the kitchen like a burglar on parole in his air-conditioned slippers with a toe there in the hole, and then he builds a pot of coffee and has a little cup. Till he thinks of some good reason to wake somebody up. And all around the valley, folks are nestled in their bed, unaware an egg is hatching in the rancher's little head. He reread the livestock paper since getting up alone, but he's still not quite decided just who he's gonna phone. The assistant county agent, the forest ranger's boss, the banker, brand inspector, the commissioner that lost the vet, the co-op salesman, though he can't recall his name, but it really doesn't matter because anybody's game. And he quivers like a panther about to pounce his prey as the innocent lays sleeping just a dial tone away. And by daylight it's all over, and he's reached a fever pitch, and the way he's stomping around the house, his wife is wondering which potential victim got the call and had his brain massaged with the lecture she, just yesterday, herself had tried to dodge. But little does she realize just why he's in a tizzy. See, his neighbors got up earlier, and all the lines were busy. This is Baxter Black from out there.
We're sorry, the number you have reached
Hello?
is not in service.
Hello?
This is a recording.
Thanks, Baxter. Baxter has been a regular attendee of this convention over the years and a longtime supporter of the beef industry. We'll hope to see you again in San Antonio. Now, if you'd like to learn more about what's happening with NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, you can find us on Facebook. Be sure to like our page and we'll keep you updated with photos, details on upcoming shows, and much more. And it's a great way to connect with other cattlemen and women all across the country. So check us out on Facebook. We'll have more right after this. Stay with us.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that's where the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show will be in 2020. It's the biggest convention just for cattle producers in San Antonio, a city with an amazing history that's packed with great food and fun. You can't miss it. So make plans now for the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in San Antonio, February 5th to the 7th. Find out more at ncba.org.
Now, a BQA tip from the Beef Quality Assurance Program.
When it comes to low-stress cattle handling, I like to tell cattle producers to consider the 5 principles of cattle behavior. 1, cattle want to see you. Number 2, cattle want to go around you. Number 3, cattle want to go back to the last safe place they have been. Number 4, cattle want to be with and go with other cattle. And number 5, cattle can only process one main thought at a time.
Find out more about beef quality assurance at bqa.org.
Welcome back. The Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show wouldn't be possible without the support of some amazing sponsors and trade show exhibitors. We had a chance to catch up with some of this year's exhibitors to find out about the value of the trade show.
Well, we feel it's very important for our business. It's a place for us to come and reacquaint ourselves with old friendships and relationships. It's also the best place there is to learn what's happening in the cattle industry. You go to the trade show, you learn about new equipment, new products that are on the market from the animal health standpoint. It's just a place that you can come and learn everything there is to know, or that you need to know about the business that we're in. We feel like it's very important to support the cattle industry. It's how we all choose to make a living.
I believe this is our 12th or 13th year to exhibit at the NCBA trade show, and it is definitely one of the shows that we look forward to the most, not only for all of the traffic that we get. I think last year they break a record, it seems like every year, but I think last year there were over 8,000 people that came. So we have lots of people coming by and looking at our product, and on top of that, it's kind of like a family reunion. We see a bunch of producers that we know, and then also we learn too, going to the meetings and visiting with other exhibitors. So it's just an all-around good bang for your buck to go.
Roper, Stetson, and Tin Hall is involved in the NCBA trade show because it's a great opportunity for us to get our products out to the ranchers all across the United States. Great people, great opportunity for us to get our products out there.
NCBA trade show is the best for cattle producers of all kinds, because everything we need to do our business is represented in there, whether it's financing, whether it's technology, whether it's identification programs, and big equipment. It's all there for us, and we can visit with those companies to talk about our needs.
The value of the convention to anyone involved in the cattle business can't be beat. The convention is set for February 5th through the 7th. You can register and get your housing all set at the website ncba.org. There, you'll also find special discounts on things like airfare and rental cars to help you get to, from, and around San Antonio. Well, that wraps up this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending time with us. I hope you'll join me at the beginning of February here in San Antonio. It'll be a trip you'll never forget. And we'll also see you again next week right here on RFD TV.